Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great. So in this video, I bring to you the current affairs for October 2 to October 10. So let's get started. Sudha Murthy, the first woman to get Global Indian Award. So renowned author, philanthropist and wife of Infosys co-founder Mr. Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy was honored with the prestigious Global Indian Award by the Canada India Foundation at the Grand Indo-Canadian Gala in Toronto. And so this award basically, it carries a value of $50,000, and it is presented annually to an outstanding Indian personality who has left an indelible mark in their respective fields. So for this year, Ms. Sudha Murthy was chosen. And her contributions, if you look at her contribution, Sudha Murthy's exceptional contribution to literature, philanthropy, and her dedication to giving back to the society made her a fitting recipient for this esteemed award. So basically, Sudha Murthy, she's a philanthropist. She is into social service, and she's also a renowned author. Moving on, Jammu and Kashmir's renowned Pashmina craft receives GI tag. So it's important that you know that GI tag, geographical indication tag, it is a coveted recognition that establishes the origin, uniqueness, and authenticity of a product from a specific geographical area. So basically, when a product gets this GI tag, it is a recognition of the fact that this product belongs to a particular area and carries all the uniqueness and characteristics and authenticity that it should. So, Basoli Pashmina, an age-old traditional craft originating from the picturesque district of Kathua in Jammu and Kashmir, it has recently earned the prestigious geographical indication tag. So the famous, the very, like popular Pashmina, which is an age-old traditional craft. So that has been, that has received the GI tag. And this recognition celebrates the exceptional craftsmanship of the artisans, but also protects the authenticity and uniqueness of this artisanal heritage. Moving on, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the country's first high-tech sports training center. So PM Modi inaugurated country's first high-tech sports training center for Divyangjan. So Divyangjan are basically the differently abled, category. So we use this term Divyangjan for them. And this particular sports training center has been named after former Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee and it is situated in Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. And this initiative aims to provide equal opportunity in sports. So basically, the idea is to create an inclusive environment so as to enhance their talent and encourage their participation in various sports disciplines. And Atal Bihari Training Center for Disability Sports, it is a state-of-the-art facility dedicated to training and nurturing athletes with disabilities. It is an autonomous body established by the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So which ministry is behind this? Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, particularly the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. Next, India gets 100 medals at the Asian Games 2023. So this was till October 7, 2023. Now, of course, the count has gone up. The final count is 107. But because in this video, I covered the news for the last week, so I'm giving you the count for the last week. So India gets 100 medals at the Asian Games 2023. This is historic that India made history on October 7 by winning its 100th medal at the Asian Games for the first time ever. So it's the first time ever in the Asian Games that India has clocked 100 medals. And this is a remarkable achievement. And it is a testament to the hard work and dedication of the Indian athletes and coaches. And India's 100th medal was won by women's Kabaddi team, who defeated Chinese Taipei 26-25 in a thrilling final. And India's success at the Asian Games, it is a sign of the growing strength of Indian sport. So India did well in the last Olympics also. It has been doing well in almost all the tournaments organized across various, sports And now in the Asian Games as well, India has clocked historic 100 medals. So India's success at the Asian Games, it is a sign of the growing strength of the Indian sport. And India has been consistently improving its performance at the Games over the years, and it's now one of the leading nations in the Asian sport. Next, students, Reliance's GeoMart ropes in MS Dhoni as brand ambassador. So this question is related to business awareness. And Reliance Retail's GeoMart has signed up Mahindra Singh Dhoni, India's most iconic cricketer, as its brand ambassador. And Dhoni's association comes alongside the rebranding of their festive campaign GeoMart to Geo Utsav Celebration of India, which is scheduled to launch on October 8th. So it was launched this October 8th. And this is basically the rebranding of GeoMart for the festive season ahead, elaborate festive season ahead. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been roped in as its brand ambassador. And if we talk particularly about GeoMart, so it has been steadily expanding its presence in the Indian e-commerce market. We see Reliance is making some, is enhancing its presence in the e-commerce market. It's going from strength to strength in the retail domain. And what's particularly noteworthy is that non-metro regions contribute to approximately 60% of GeoMart's overall sales. So basically, GeoMart realizes the significance and the whole potential of the tier 2 and tier 3, the smaller towns and cities, and 60% of its sales comes from that. And this statistic underscores the platform's successful efforts to democratize digital retail by reaching consumers in smaller cities and smaller towns. Moving on. Nobel Peace Prize 2023 awarded to Nargis Mouhammadi. So the Nobel Awards have been announced, Nobel Award for the year 2023 have been announced, and it has been awarded to Nargis Mouhammadi for her fight against the oppression of women in Iran and her fight to promote human rights and freedom for all. And, her Mouhammadi's this struggle, it has come with a tremendous personal cost. And the regime has arrested her 13 times, convicted her 5 times, and sentenced her to total 31 years prison and 154 lashes. And hats off to the indomitable spirit of Nargis Mohammadi that has also won her the Nobel Peace Prize. And this year's Peace Prize also recognizes the hundreds and thousands of people of Iran who in preceding years have demonstrated against Iran's theocratic regime's policies of discrimination and oppression targeting women. Next, students, India's Services PMI, which is Purchasing Managers Index, that soars to 61 in September output, hits 13-year peak job growth steady. So basically, the service sector has given its best performance in the last 13 years, this year in September. And the service sector has experienced a significant boost in both domestic and international demand, reaching a 13-year high according to a survey-based index by S&P Global Market Intelligence. So according to the survey, the service sector of India is doing very well, and the business activity and new work intakes in the service sector, it surged to levels not seen in over 13 years. And both domestic and international sales to regions like Asia, Europe, and North America contributed to its growth. Also, the sector is also contributing towards job creation, and the optimism is high. Escalation of Israel-Palestine conflict, Operation AI Aqsa flood unleashed by Hamas sparks widespread violence. So the Israel-Palestine conflict has escalated dramatically as Hamas, the armed Palestinian group, initiated Operation Al-Aqsa flood, firing over 5,000 rockets into Israel. So you should name some important things that you should keep in mind here. The two countries that are involved here, Israel and Palestine. What is the name of the operation that has been launched? It is Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, and it is launched by whom? Hamas. Hamas from Palestine, the armed Palestinian group. And this situation has quickly escalated into a full-scale war, resulting into significant, casualties and widespread fear among civilians. So there was this massive and sudden rocket barrage with more than 5,000 rockets targeting Israel. And reports indicated that this kind of attack is kind of not the usual attacks that are made. This is slightly unconventional, wherein unconventional methods such as paragliders and attacks on civilians on road was made. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared a state of war, emphasizing the seriousness of the situation. And he asserted that it's not mere an operation, it's a full-scale, full-blown war that caught Iran unawares. And very unfortunate there. And Netanyahu has vowed that Hamas would face an unparalleled retaliation. Next, students, World Bank retains India's FY24 financial year 24 GDP growth at 6.3% amidst challenges. So despite substantial external challenges, India's economy remains robust, prompting the World Bank to maintain its growth forecast for the fiscal year 23-24 at 6.3%. So you should keep in mind that India is slated to grow in the range of 6.3 to about 7.5% in the fiscal year 23-24, and in spite of various external challenges. So we know that right now the global business environment, the global environment, economic environment, basically, it's not very positive, with several European countries, on the verge of a recession, and US and other major markets of the world slowing down. And then, of course, there's this whole geopolitical conflict going on. So in spite of all these external challenges, India's economy remains robust and prompting the World Bank to maintain its growth forecast for the fiscal year 2024 at 6.3%. And what are the pillars of India's economic strength? If we look at the key factors that have contributed to this growth, India's growth, so basically strong domestic demand, right? We are a country of 1.4 billion people. And so we have a very strong internal domestic demand. So ours is a domestic engine-driven economy. And significant public infrastructure investment, which is being made by the government, significant infrastructure. The budget made some significant announcement related to capital expenditure by the government, which entails infrastructure investment, and a strengthening financial sector. And notably, bank credit growth has surged to 15.8%. So bank credit growth, that's an indication of an uptick in the business activity and investment within an economy. So that has surged to 15.8%, indicating a healthy financial environment. Next, students, India and Bangladesh annual joint military exercise Sampriti begins. So India and Bangladesh commenced the 11th edition of their annual joint military exercise called Sampriti in Umroi, Meghalaya. And this collaborative endeavor, organized alternatively by both countries, highlights their robust bilateral defense cooperative initiative. So basically, this is a bilateral military exercise between India and Bangladesh. It is an annual event, and this year, it has been organized in Meghalaya, Umroi, and it is called Sampriti, right? So should we keep the name in mind, Sampriti? And the history of Sampriti dates back to 2009 when it was first established as a platform for joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh. So the question could be something like that Sampriti what is Sampriti, right? So there could be different options, or between which countries is it conducted. So you should know India and Bangladesh. Next, students, India participates in the 5th meeting of Moscow format. So in a significant diplomatic gathering held in the Russian city of Kazan, representatives from various countries convened for the 5th meeting of the Moscow format consultation on Afghanistan, right? So what's the name of this consultation? Moscow format, and organized where? In Russian city of Kazan. And it took place on September 29th, and it featured special representatives from countries like India, Russia, Pakistan, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. So basically, some of the South Asian countries, the Central Asian countries, and of course, Russia. And so basically, what was the main agenda? The main agenda was to discuss the situation in Afghanistan, right? So the acting minister for foreign affairs appointed by Taliban in Afghanistan was also in attendance alongside representatives from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and Turkey. So if you see, these are the neighboring countries of Afghanistan, countries that surround Afghanistan and who have a whole stake in Afghanistan and would certainly be impacted by the situation in Afghanistan. So given this, this meeting was conducted. And what was the whole objective? The objective was, the prime focus was to discuss the ongoing situation in Afghanistan with an emphasis on regional security and integration of Afghanistan into broader regional economic processes. So basically, to discuss the ongoing situation in Afghanistan, the status of Afghanistan at the moment, and to look at the regional security and integration of Afghanistan into the regional economic processes. And one of the key outcomes of the meeting was a collective call on the Taliban to establish government system that is truly inclusive, right? So it was they called out on Afghanistan. They called on Taliban to create an inclusive government that represents the interest of all the key ethno-political groups within the country. And they also urged Taliban to intensify their efforts in counter-terrorism and anti-drug activities. A very important point that was made here was that there's an urgent need to unblock Afghan assets. And a crucial point of consensus among the attendees was the immediate and unconditional unblocking of Afghan assets by Washington and its allies. So Washington, like we all know, US, for quite some time, US and its army, it was present in Afghanistan, controlling the situation, but they made a very abrupt exit from the country. And so basically, a lot of Afghanistani assets are still under control of Washington. So a very important point that was made at this meeting was to unfreeze, that US was urged that it should unfreeze and unblock those assets, which could be utilized for the development and economic progress of Afghanistan, for the reconstruction of Afghanistan's economy. And the attendees, the countries involved, they also vehemently opposed any return of US and NATO military structures to Afghanistan. A very important point, students. And towards the conclusion of the meeting, the participants jointly adopted the Kazan Declaration of the Moscow Format Consultation on Afghanistan, signifying the collective commitment to addressing the multifaceted challenges facing Afghanistan and the wider region. Next, Indian Air Force to stop flying MiG-21 by 2025, according to Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary. So amidst its ongoing efforts to modernize and replace the aging Russian origin aircraft, the Indian Air Force has announced plans to retire its iconic MiG-21 fighter jets and replace them with the indigenous light combat aircraft LCA Mark 1A. So we all know, past many years, there have been regular news of MiG-21 crashes, wherein we have not just, not just lost the planes, but also our valiant, our brave soldiers. And so the transition, so now in an effort to modernize the Indian Air Force, there are plans to retire MiG-21, which was of Russian origin. Please remember MiG-21, one of the most important aircrafts of India that has served India for many years now, that is of Russian origin, and that is being replaced by light combat aircraft Mark A1. So that they're making this transition from MiG-21 to LCA Mark 1A. Please remember LCA Mark 1A. And Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary disclosed that IAF, Indian Air Force, had signed a contract for 83 LCA Mark 1A aircraft, which will be supplemented with an additional 97 units, bringing the total to 180 LCA Mark 1As. And this move marks a crucial step towards retiring the aging MiG-21 squadrons from active service. And the Air Chief Marshal confirmed that MiG-21 fighter aircraft would cease operations by 2025. And if you look at the legacy of MiG-21, so MiG-21 has been a stalwart of the Indian Air Force for over 6 decades, and it has played a pivotal role in safeguarding India's airspace. And however, there were some safety concerns and modernization. There were some safety concerns involved, and of course, the whole modernization drive that is being taken up by the defense forces. So while the MiG-21 had a long and illustrious service history, it has also faced safety concerns. So this step, it is a crucial step towards enhancing the safety of Indian Air Force fleet. Next, students, Nobel Prize in Physics 2023 awarded to Pierre Agostini, Ferencroz, and Anne Elhuer for experimental methods that generate attosecond pulses of light for the study of electronic dynamic in matter. So you should know why have they been awarded for experimental methods that generate attosecond pulses. So attosecond is basically a very small fraction of 1 second, right? It's like one, if I'm not mistaken, it is 1 upon 10 to the power 8 seconds. So attosecond is that minute, time period. And they have been awarded for experimental methods that generate attosecond pulses of light for the study of electron dynamics in matter. And this would help in exploring the world of electrons inside atoms and molecules. So basically, they demonstrated a way to create extremely short pulses of light that can be used to measure the rapid processes in which electrons move or change energy. And what would this help, students? Please keep in mind that this would help in exploring the world of electrons to better investigate and better study electrons. Next, Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2023 awarded to Moin G. Bevendy, Louis E. Bruce, and Alexei A. Ekimov for discovery and synthesis of quantum dots. So why they have been awarded, students, you would not just be asked the names of the scientists. It's not just that this is important. Also, what is important is to know what they have been awarded the Nobel for, and there could be questions related to that, in fact. So they have been awarded the Nobel for the discovery and synthesis of quantum dots, and these smallest components of nanotechnology now spread their lights from televisions and LED lamps and can also guide surgeons when they remove tumor tissues, among many other things. So basically, quantum dot, what is quantum dot, students? As you can see in this graphic here, it is a crystal that often consists of just a few thousand atoms. In terms of size, it has the same relationship that a football would have to the size of the earth, right? So that's why it is very small in size, and that's why it is known as just a few atoms, and that's why it is known as a quantum dot. However, it is of great utility, and it is the smallest component of nanotechnology, right? And it is used in televisions and LED lamps, and also guides surgeons for carrying out various medical investigations and operations. They also illuminate computer monitors and television screens based on QLED technologies. And they bring great benefit to human mankind. And researchers believe that in the future, they could contribute to flexible electronics, tiny sensors, thinner solar cells, and encrypted quantum communication. So these are the various uses that it could find in future. Then students, Nobel Prize in Literature 2023 awarded to John Foss. So the Nobel Prize in Literature 2023 awarded to Norwegian author John Foss or John Olive Foss for his innovative plays and prose which give a voice to the unsayable. And the Nobel Prize in Literature is awarded by the Swedish Academy, Stockholm, Sweden. Very quickly about John Foss, he was born in 1959, widely considered one of the most important writers of our times. For almost 40 years, he has written novels, plays, poems, stories, children's books, and whatnot. And his award-winning work has been translated into more than 50 languages, and his plays have been staged over 1,000 times all over the world. Next, students, the Eurozone economy faces contraction in Q3 amid sliding demand. So recent data and surveys suggest that the Eurozone economy likely contracted in the third quarter. So like I, shared with you a while ago that most of the Europe is on like sort of slowing down. There's a downturn in that region. So, in line with that, according to the latest survey, Eurozone economy likely contracted in the third quarter of the year, and the demand in the region saw a significant decline, marking the fastest pace of decrease in nearly 3 years. And so, factors that have contributed to this, it includes increased borrowing cost, higher prices, cautious consumer spending among indebted households. And there is also a forecast of a recession in late 2023. So according to various economists, the Eurozone economy could enter a recession in the later half of 2023. Now, there's mixed performance in Eurozone countries. Not all countries are performing at the same level. So, for instance, German service sector activity improved slightly, while France saw its industry shrink at the fastest rate. Italy's service industry also contracted. But if we talk about UK, so UK is in a different situation. In contrast, the United Kingdom, which is outside the European Union, it has experienced a less severe downturn in its service sector. And factors, the reasons that have contributed to this uh, is the most important reason is a surprise decline or decrease in inflation, UK's inflation. That means, in a way, we might extrapolate this to the fact that the Eurozone, which is a collective, that is not serving its countries that well. So UK that has stepped outside Eurozone, that made an exit from the Eurozone, is performing better. Next, students, Nokia opens 6G lab facility in Bengaluru. So the telecom giant Nokia has made a significant stride towards the future of wireless technology with the establishment of the state-of-the-art 6G lab at the company's global R&D center in Bengaluru. And this is first of its kind project, which is set to revolutionize the way we perceive and interact with the digital and physical world. So number one, things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, that it is a 6G lab, right? Opened by Nokia, first of its kind in Bengaluru. What is the most, the biggest takeaway here, that they're trying to unveil the network as a sensor technology. So one of the most intriguing aspects of Nokia 6G lab is its research into network as a sensor, that how can they convert internet network as a sensor, right? This revolutionary concept enables wireless networks to act as sensors capable of perceiving objects, people, and movement without need for traditional onboard sensors. And, the inauguration of Nokia 6G Lab also, it was marked by a virtual ceremony attended by India's Telecom Minister Ashwani Vaishnav. Please keep it in mind, who is India's telecom minister? It is Ashwani Vaishnav. Ashwani Vaishnav, as you can see here. And he has, of course, underlined the importance of telecom technology in India's digital program. But more importantly, that how India is aspiring to take the lead in 6G technology. India is aspiring to take the lead to be at the forefront of the 6G technology. Next, students, a glacial lake burst in Sikkim causes devastation. Devastation. So, very unfortunate there that several people lost their lives and a significant number remained injured or missing in the wake of flash floods that struck Sikkim on October 4. And these devastating floods were triggered when a glacial lake, students, please try to understand this, that how this, burst happened. So basically, this was triggered when a glacial lake formed by gradual melting of a Himalayan glacier unexpectedly overflowed, leading to the inundation of the Teesta River basin. So this is a possible consequence of the global warming, that the heat caused by global warming caused the increased melting of the Himalayan glacier, which sort of overflowed and leading to an inundation. Inundation means flooding of the Teesta River basin. Teesta is a very important river in that region, eastern India. And this catastrophic event resulted in the destruction of the Chungthang Dam, students, a critical component of Sikkim's largest hydroelectric project, and caused extensive damage to highways, villages, and towns. So what is the name of the lake, students? South Lonak Lake. And South Lonak Lake expansion, scientists had previously raised concerns. They'd already they had already sent out a warning and raised an alarm about the expanding South Lonak Lake, which was gradually growing due to the melting of ice at its head. And nearly half of the lake emptied out. Another factor which is being considered here that could have possibly caused this is the impact on Teesta 3 hydropower project. The Teesta 3 hydropower project, operated by Sikkim Urja and majority owned by the Sikkim government, it was severely affected, and it is also believed that it was this hydro power project, the whole construction that went into it, and the whole uh, activity that went into it, that might have led to some changes in that area, leading to this. So that's all for this video, students. I'll see you very soon with yet another video on current affairs. Bye-bye. Take care.